Chapter 5 is an extra chapter filled with wild theories, musings, and ramblings. The main purpose of the chapter was to reveal less developed versions of my theories and patch a few holes in the main theory. I'm skipping figure 58A because it's just a table speculating on levels of what I call scientific respect. It's only loosely related to the next figure, which speculates on levels of scientific complexity. This next figure also doesn't meet my animation criteria, but I'm showing it anyway because it's a hybrid of both the spectrum and a branching tree. The only other branching tree shown in this video series is figure 22. More complex trees, figure 29, figure 39, and figure 43 were skipped because they work better static. You can get the book if you're curious about what's excluded. Figure 58B starts with this upside-down, house-shaped pentagon to label branches. In this case, it's labeling the Fields of Study main branch. The core disciplines come first in the branch. They're followed by more branch labels. The dotted lines represent secondary links and feedback influence on the core disciplines. Philosophy also feeds back into all fields of study. The spectrum arrows begin after the core disciplines because the vertical spectrum line only covers what comes after the core disciplines. Unlike figure 58A, this vertical line is not a spectrum of respect. It's a spectrum between predictability and interest, assuming that the two features are inversely proportional. Interest and predictability are relevant to the relationship between science and art. Scientists seek, and sometimes have more respect for, predictability. Artists seek, and sometimes have more respect for, whatever is most interesting, which often comes with less predictability. The branch categories, distinguished by pentagons, aren't necessarily part of the spectrum, but you could say they are less interesting than the actual subjects. Natural science subjects are the most objective, and the only subjects that don't need branch labels because the discipline is the branch. Most of the branch labels are to sort out subjects stemming from social science under more functional and less academic language. The two italicized subjects, in pink, are the exclusively informational subjects. The three underlined subjects, in the khaki color, are somewhat more abstract than their parent subjects, with more potential for self-fulfilling prophecies. They're more practice than science. The horizontal spectrum line covers everything on the chart. It's mainly to contrast the difference between complication and complexity. This is also related to the difference between art and science. I know complication and complexity aren't inversely proportional. This chart just shows how social factors complicate subjects that don't involve much innate data. Synthetic, informational data is in addition to the innate data. But innate data is studied with more breadth than depth when social dynamics are added to the study. That's why social dynamics make the superset in my main theory. That's figure 58B, the levels of scientific complexity and predictability. It's a crude concept map meant for theorizing more than solidifying a model. The next video is just as crude, but with more depth and originality in the theory. It's also the second B part of a figure, loosely related to the A part. I hope you are looking forward to it. Please leave critical and constructive feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching.